Hey everyone, it's Leandra at New Vocations Racehorse Adoption Program, and today we're going to answer one of the questions that we hear quite a lot, and that is, what are some of the most important things to think about before I adopt an off-the-track thoroughbred? So there are a lot of different considerations to think about before you jump right into adoption, especially of a horse who's coming right from the track, because most of the horses who come into our program are 3 or 4 years old and are coming directly from the track or from a layup facility. So the critical things for you to think about, I'm going to break them down into 3 main categories. 1, first and foremost, think about your comfort level and your skill level. If you're still unsure, if you're lacking confidence, if you're getting back into riding after a long hiatus and you're wanting to develop yourself, now may not be the right time to take on a horse who needs instruction themselves. These horses are young, they're babies. We consider all of the horses who are coming through our program to be green. In those situations, it's not usually ideal to have a green person working with a green horse. Make sure that you are confident that you can handle some of the most basic things that a young horse would need to go through. Because if you don't have those things down, you can always adopt an off-the-track thoroughbred who's maybe been in a riding program for a long time, who's maybe 15 years old, who's more aged and more experienced. You don't necessarily need to get a horse in our program. Lots of horses need homes. Really, really important thing to consider. Number 2, think about your goals. So that can go in a lot of different directions, but I think overall, it's really important to have a good understanding of what you want to get out of that relationship with the horse before you adopt, because expectations can be one of the biggest barriers to a successful adoption. You have to be realistic with yourself, so that goes back to the last thing we talked about, your current skill level, but then also you want to be thinking about where you want to be in the future. So maybe you are going to the Olympics, maybe not, but if you are expecting to get a horse who could take you to the Olympics, then you should probably be prepared to put in that amount of work. And that will mean vet bills, that's going to mean trainer bills, that's going to mean huge time investments, that's going to mean, maybe wrapping and poulticing your horse's legs after every workout. I mean, it takes a lot of work to get a horse to high level. So if you're really telling us that you want to be at that top level of competition, then you should also know that level of work that goes into producing that level of horse. Realistic expectations, even considering all the different options or the different ranges. But those realistic expectations, they're really going to help us not only help you find a horse who's going to be suitable for you, but it's going to give you a really good grasp where you want to go. Thoroughbreds are extremely versatile athletes. We have horses who could suit basically any range of goal that you have, but knowing what you want out of that relationship is only going to help us in the matching process, and it's only going to help you in trying to get there. Number 3 really wraps full circle, talking about the things that we have already talked about now. So your current level and your projected expectations, your goals. So number 3 is the resources available to you. Do you have a really good working relationship with your vet? If so, maybe a rehab adoption is a stellar option for you. You can get a head start dealing with some of even the basic issues and get to know your horse before you even start riding. Do you have a trainer on hand who's at your barn a lot, or do you have to ship in every time that you want to work with a trainer? These are really important things to ask yourself. What sort of resources? This might even be considering the financial parts of whether or not you take on X horse or Y horse, but understanding who your support team is, how accessible they are to you. These are all really critical questions to ask yourself before you jump into an adoption. You really want to know the team that you have to work with, the resources that you've got, really considering all angles of this. So just to go back into a brief overview, really important things to consider before you adopt. 1, your current skill level your current comfort level. So we're talking physical and mental here. 2, what are your goals? What are your expectations? And number 3, who's your team? What are the resources? What are you willing to commit to this relationship moving forward? Knock out those 3 things before you consider adopting, and I think that you're going to be set up for a really successful future, and hopefully we'll be able to team you up with the perfect horse. Check out our website, newvocations.org, and there you can see all the different horses who are available to adopt now. You can follow our page and our social media pages to see horses who will be coming available in the future, because we always have ones along the way. And you can find out more about us. Reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for joining us.